This is how I roll. Motivation all I know. Never stop, I'm on go. Cause motivation is all I know. This is how I roll. Motivation all I know. Never stop, I'm on go. Cause motivation is all I know. Motivation is my power.
Welcome back to Conscious Living Visual Podcast, where we unpack the stories that hit hardest in our communities, the stories the mainstream media skims over. I'm your host, Jabari HERU SIMBA, and today we're breaking down a headline that's shaking both Washington and the dinner tables of Black America. Order for Trump to fund SNAP benefits halted by the only Black female judge on the U.S. Supreme Court. Yeah, you heard that right. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, I hope I'm saying her name right, the first and only Black woman on the Supreme Court, issued an emergency order that temporarily blocked a lower court ruling requiring the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP, the food assistance program that millions depend on. And the ripple effect? Oh, it's hitting us, the Black community, in some of the deepest ways imaginable. Let's rewind the tape a bit. In early November 2025, America was deep in a government shutdown. Budgets frozen, agencies scrambling. SNAP, that's the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, was on the chopping block. The USDA warned it couldn't guarantee full benefits for November. Some states were told folks might get only 65% of what they normally receive. Then a federal judge in Rhode Island said, nah, you can't do that. He ordered the Trump administration to pay the full SNAP benefits, arguing it caused irreparable harm if families went without food. But the Trump team appealed. And that appeal landed at the feet of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the only Black woman on the nation's highest court who temporarily halted the lower court order. Translation? The administration doesn't have to send out the full payments right now. States can hold off, families gotta wait. Now, let's talk about the sister at the center of all this, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's a Harvard-trained legal powerhouse, confirmed to the court back in 2022. A trailblazer, the first Black woman to ever wear that robe in over 200 years of U.S. Supreme Court history. So when headlines popped up saying, Black woman halts Trump order to fund SNAP, social media lit up. Confusion, frustration, even betrayal from some corners of the Black community. Because how does it look when our own appears to stand between struggling families and their food benefits? But we gotta be real, the law is layered. What Jackson issued was an administrative stay, not a final ruling. Basically a pause button. It's meant to keep things steady while a higher court reviews the case. Still, that pause came at a cost. And that cost is falling on the very people who can least afford it. Let's talk about who SNAP actually serves. According to the USDA's own data, about 26% of all SNAP households are Black, even though we make up around 13% of the total U.S. population. That means Black folks are disproportionately represented among those who rely on those benefits just to put food on the table. For many of us, SNAP isn't a handout, it's a lifeline. It's the reason the fridge ain't empty, the reason your kids can eat breakfast before school, the reason grandma can stretch her medicine money without starving. So when a political fight in D.C. freezes that funding, the ripple effect hits us first. Black families in the South, single mothers in the Midwest, grandparents raising grandkids, the people already navigating the grind. And that's what's wild about this story, because while Washington debates, we go hungry. While justices deliberate legal doctrine, we deliberate what meal we can skip tonight. Here's where it gets complicated. Justice Jackson's move wasn't about cruelty, it was about process. In legal terms, her stay was to prevent a lower court from forcing the executive branch to act before an appeal could be reviewed. That's judicial procedure. But here's the paradox. Even when Black people rise to power in American systems, we're still operating inside those systems that historically were never designed for our liberation or survival. So when Jackson, a Black woman, makes a procedural move that delays relief for poor families, many of them Black, it becomes a mirror moment. It shows how power, law, and identity clash in America. She's representing the institution and representing us, but those roles don't always align. This is the burden of Black excellence in white systems. You can follow the rules and still be seen as betraying your people. That's the tension of progress inside oppression. Let's ground this in reality. Since the halt, reports show that food banks across states like Georgia, Mississippi, and Louisiana are bracing for higher demand. Community kitchens are running out of stock faster. Families that were counting on their full SNAP load mid-month are seeing less hit their cards. We're talking single moms who already budget down to the dollar. Elders skipping meals so their grandbabies can eat. That's what this stay order looks like in the real world. It's not abstract, it's kitchen table trauma. And for the Black community, this compounds existing economic wounds. Higher unemployment rates, wage inequality, food deserts, the generational trauma of scarcity. A stay in D.C. means hunger in Detroit. A delay in the courtroom means a delay at dinner. Out in the streets, folks are saying,
"Man, we can't catch a break.
Because it always feels like politics finds a way to tighten the squeeze on the poor, especially the poor who look like us. And some of us, we ain't even mad at Jackson personally. We get it. She's in that legal maze. But the frustration runs deep because the system she serves keeps failing the same people it claims to protect. So what's the takeaway? We can't keep waiting on government miracles. It's time to push community resilience, food co-ops, local gardens, mutual aid networks, feeding programs by us, for us. We've done it before, from the Black Panther free breakfast programs to church pantries. History already gave us the blueprint. We just need to remember how to build again. I don't want to end this by villainizing anybody. Not Justice Jackson, not the judges, not even the bureaucrats. Because the truth is, the system itself is the problem. When survival depends on political battles and courtroom rulings, freedom ain't freedom. When your next meal is a government form away, that's not security, that's dependency. But I still got hope, because every time the system fumbles, we find a way. We hustle, we organize, we care for each other. And maybe, just maybe, these moments remind us the power has always been ours. We just need to redirect it from reaction to creation. All right, family, that's today's deep dive. The order's been halted, the courts are still arguing, and our people are still adjusting, but the conversation isn't over. Keep talking about this. Share it with somebody on Snap, somebody who's fighting to make it through this week. And if you've got the resources, slide something to your local food drive or mutual aid fund. We gotta feed each other while we wait for justice to catch up. I'm your host, Jabari HERU SIMBA. This is Conscious Living Visual Podcast. Stay fed, stay free, stay woke.